And it's good till 10.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 25th, 2020
Recording in progress.
board meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District Board. Would you please call the roll?
Vice Chair Aquino.
Here.
Director Daniels.
Here.
Director Desmond. Here. Director Frost. Here. Director Guerra.
No card meeting today, so glad to be here.
Director Hume. Chair Kennedy.
Here.
Director Maple. Director Papineau.
Here.
And Director Robles. Director Cerna.
Here.
Director Terry.
Here.
Director Thau. Director Vang. We have quorum.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please read the announcements?
Members of the public are encouraged to observe the meeting in real time at metro14live.saccounty.gov, participate in person via Zoom video or teleconference line, and by submitting written comments to boardclerk@airquality.org. Comments will be delivered to the Board of Directors. Public comments regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors will be acknowledged by the chairperson, distributed to the Board of Directors, and included in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel, on Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable system. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will be repeated on Monday, 29th, 2024, at 2 p.m. on Channel 14. Please note that the time has been updated since the agenda was posted. For the record, today's meeting will be repeated on Monday, April 29th, 2024, at 2 p.m. on Channel 14.
Thank you very much. First item, please.
The first item on the agenda is a special presentation, recognition of service for 2 hearing board members. And I have Kathy Pittard and Amy Roberts here to give a presentation.
Thank you. As the board knows, the hearing board that you appoint serves a very important function at the district. And today we're here to recognize 2 members that served an astonishing collective 70 years on the hearing board. They're Dr. Stephen Wires and Mr. John German. Dr. Wires' daytime job was as the medical office for the State Personnel Board. He retired from that a few years back, but agreed to continue serving on our board for another 10 plus years. But now he's resigned from the board, so he's fully retired and traveling, and he couldn't be here today. He served over 40 years as the medical professional on the board. He also served as our board chairman. In that capacity, I think he served as the chairman for the entire time period. He's been there so long we couldn't reconstruct when he was actually appointed or elected to chair. But he served and presided over about 350 hearing board proceedings, some of those very contentious proceedings. He also presided over 60 emergency variance hearings. And I wanted to mention that because to do that, he had to make himself available on very short notice to hold a hearing, a phone conference generally, within a day on matters that were pretty complicated and with very minimal briefing. And he did that resolutely and reached what I think very fair decisions in those matters. I think that shows a sincere dedication to public service to make himself available that readily. Mr. John German served for almost 30 years, just shy of 30 years on the hearing board. He had his own engineering firm that he ran at the same time from 1980 to 2008. He retired from that in 2008, but he also graciously continued to serve on the hearing board. Unfortunately, he passed away recently, but his wife, Lois, and his daughter, Denise, are here today to accept this minor token on his behalf. His dedication to public service was plain. He was a guest lecturer at CSUS. He served on the Southgate Parks and Recreation District for a period of time. He served on the Franklin Business Association for a while. He was the president of the Valley High Rotary Club, and he worked at the beginning of his career for Amador County Public Works Department, rising to the level of deputy director. And he brought all of that history, experience, and perspective to the hearing board, where he gave us that expertise in considering all the variance petitions that came forward. And we're very grateful to him for that. He was also a very kind and considerate person. The thing that springs to my mind most readily is that every year during that holiday season, he would bring to his cohorts on the hearing board boxes of See's candies, which was pretty thoughtful of him. But he also brought one every year for the hearing board clerk. And I thought that just showed his sort of level of compassion and consideration for for those around him. And as you know, the hearing board is an extremely important function. We couldn't function, that hearing board couldn't function without the dedicated service of people like Mr. German and Dr. Wires. And so we very much thank them for their service. And now if you could come up, and we'd like to give just a little token of that to them right now. And that concludes.
Thank you very much. I had the pleasure of knowing John through his work at the in Franklin Boulevard, and it was a tremendous pleasure to know him and to work with him. And I thank you for being here today. I'm sorry for your loss and the community's loss, but we will always remember him as a very dedicated and fantastic public servant. So thank you very much for being here. We sincerely appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, next item, please.
The next item on the agenda, the consent calendar, items 2 through 6.
Is there any member of the board that would like to address or any item on the consent calendar? Seeing none, is there any member of the public? We have a motion by Director Desmond, a second by Director Frost. Please call the roll.
Vice Chair Aquino?
Aye.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Desmond?
Aye.
Director Frost?
Aye.
Director Guerra?
Aye.
Director Hume? Chair Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Maple? Director Papineau? Aye. Director Robles? Director Cerna?
Aye.
Director Terry?
Aye.
Director Thau? Aye. Director Vang? This item passes.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that Director Hume has joined us. Next item, please.
The next item on the agenda, item number 7, public hearing, fiscal year 2024 to 2025 proposed budget and fee schedule, and have Patty Kepner in chambers to give a presentation.
Good morning, Chair Kennedy and directors. My name is Patty Kepner. I'm the controller for the district, and today I'll be presenting an overview of the fiscal year 24-25 proposed budget and fee schedule. Next slide, please. This is the outline for the presentation. We'll talk a little bit about the budget process. A lot of that is predicated on the goals and strategies for the district. We'll review those, look at the budget by fund.
I'm sorry, it's take your dog to work day, apparently.
I should have left her at home, you know. I'll look at the 5-year forecast briefly. We've done that as well. And then we have the proposed fee schedule for the stationary sources fees. So next slide, please. Just a little bit on the budget process. We start in earnest in the November timeframe, where we set goals for the district, what's going to be the key imperatives for the next year. And based on those goals, headcount's determined, funding is determined for certain different consultants or things like that. And then when those are set, then the district goes to work to detail plan that. So we do decentralized budgeting, where each of the divisions plan in detail with comments and all sorts of review and QC of that data to really come up with the best budget we can come up with. And it is one where there's buy-in since it is decentralized. So that goes on in the December, January timeframe. We review that with the executive team, and then the product of that comes to the Budget and Personnel Committee in March. And that's what we did last month. We brought the proposed budget to that committee and asking feedback and direction. And we received that, and the direction was to bring the budget forward to this meeting. This is the first of 2 public hearings, and so we'll have our second one in May, and with that will be a resolution proposed to accept the budget. And then it becomes effective July 1. So it's a very thorough and long process. So next slide, please. So looking at the district, I would call strategic goals. These should all look very familiar to most of you who've been on the board. There are high-level goals, what we aspire to, and so you can see everything here from maintaining air quality standards and climate targets, all the way through the programs we support, our partnerships, our staff, and then finally the last one is the fiscal responsibility and viability, which is exactly why we're here today, is to look at the budget, which guides us through the next year in terms of making decisions about funding and where we apply our resources. Next slide, please. Going to the next level, this is the priorities for the year. So you have those overarching goals, and then what are the initiatives we're going to fund next year? So we have a very important one, which is expanding the AB 617 scope to include the Community Emissions Reduction Plan, which we call SERP, and I think you've heard about that. A two-year grant, very important to the region. We also are very hopeful on the implementation grant for the climate pollution reduction grant, the federal funds, competitive grant. You heard about that last month. It'll be very important to the region. It's about a $90 million grant that the district's taking the lead on, and we're hopeful to hear about that around the July-August timeframe. We have more incentives to distribute on the Clean Cars for All grant. You'll hear about that program today as well. We have an air monitoring facility that has been a couple years in the renovation process, and that will be coming to culmination. We have our area software, which is a very heavy lift for the district in terms of a new software solution for our permitting, compliance, billing, and other modules, our transportation incentives as well. That's going to go live on the first phase in July. And then finally, on top of that, we have a goal of relocating the district headquarters upon the successful sale of the building, and closing that around would be the summertime. So you can see it's a very full year. I think it's going to be a very positive and important year for the district. And with that, we had the budget provides the funding to make these initiatives and priorities a success. So next slide, please. I did want to mention there's a few items that we don't have in the budget, just so you keep that in mind as we go through. And it's also not in the 5-year plan as well. And it's primarily because the confidence level on these items isn't high enough to put it in the budget. We want our budget to be meaningful and one that we can execute with a high probability. So there's 3 things. The first one is that CPRG, the implementation grant with the EPA funds. Again, $93 million. It's competitive, but we don't know yet about that award. We're hopeful, but we don't know about that and the timing of that, exactly when that implementation would start. Would it be 24-25 or 25-26 fiscal year? So that is not in there. The sale of the headquarters building and relocation, we do have a purchase and sale agreement in process. Nothing with that is done till it's done, so we don't have that in there. You'll see a status quo budget for the building. And then finally, there's a proposal to increase the More-Year admin fund from 6.25 to 12% to get those incentives out the door. That will be extremely helpful to the district and all districts. It's going to be proposed for more than just our district. That is not in the budget as well because, again, it's a proposal at this point. Next slide, please. Another key part of our budget is people and our FTEs. So our staffing strategy is to have a total of 105.8 FTE for next year. That's an increase of 4 from our 23-24 amended FTE budget. That was amended last month at the March board meeting to go from 97.6 to 101.8. And so most of the increase for the 4 full-time equivalents in the budget that we're requesting has to do with support of this increased grant activity, the SERP, Clean Cars for All, that we highlighted just a slide ago. Next slide, please. So looking at the numbers, this is the proposed budget for, we have three funds. We have a general fund, which has most of our operating expenses in there. So we have all our salaries and benefits, we have capital, we have consultants, we have all the expenses to make the district run. And so what you'll see here is we have that one. We have the Covell Building Fund, which is our building, and then we have special revenue, which is incentives like Moyer, Clean Cars for All, things like that are kept separately in the special revenue fund. And just to orient you to the slide, besides the fund name, then the next column we have revenues, then the expenditures, a use or source of fund balance, and then finally a projected fund balance, where our fund balances will be at the end of fiscal year 2025. So just to comment on the general fund, you can see that we are using about $3.1 million of fund balance, and the reason for that is we have very much been focused on getting advanced fund requests into CARB to try to get as much of the funding on these grants in this year. So we'll be getting payment for, the plan is to get the grant award, or not the grant award, we have the award, but the actual disbursement of funds to us in fiscal year 23-24 before June. We'll have that money in fund balance, and then that will fund that SERP AB 617 expanded grant for 2 years, so we'll be using up fund balance. So you'll see $3.1 million uses some fund balance here. About 2.5 of it relates to that using up or funding the SERP activities on the AB 617 expanded grant. And then special revenues, just to comment on use of fund balance there, that's a good thing. We're getting our incentives out to the community, and so plan is about $5.5 million there. And just comment, we'll see another slide on this later, but the fund balance, we have very healthy fund balance at this point, and so more than adequate to fund the fund balance use in fiscal year 24-25. So next slide, please. Just some high-level comments on the funds. This is the general fund, looking at our 23, going from budget to budget, the 23 approved budget to the 24-25 proposed. And we are seeing an increase in revenue. It's mainly around grants and then stationary sources fees. And then we're seeing a larger increase in expenditures, and that relates to the FTE increase. We have a 3.6% COLA. Based on our standard index for that. Our retirement and group insurance contributions have gone up more than that COLA, and probably you've seen that at other agencies as well. Particularly our retirement contribution went up quite a bit this year. And then we have professional services for grant support, again around that expanded AB 617, Clean Cars for All, so we've got the resources in there to fund those contracts for grant support. Next slide, please. So on the general fund, again, just orient you to this chart. We have first column is revenue, expenditures. We see whether we have a surplus or deficit, and then an ending fund balance. The second column is the 23-24 approved budget, and then we have a projection for 23-24. We do that as part of the budget process to see where we think we're going to end up the year for in June of 24. And then we have our proposed budget. And the comment I'll make on this is that you'll notice in 23-24, our revenue projection is about $33.6 million, which is much higher than our budget of $25.1 million. And most of that is that advanced funding requests that we've been making, whether it be on the AB 617 expanded grant or other items. We have some of that going on in the special revenue fund as well. So we're trying to make sure that those funds are secure and that we've got them to go for next year when these grants kick off. Next slide, please. Won't spend much time here. This is our building fund. It's buildings currently for sale. We've planned a break-even budget. We're not planning to have, we've had tenants in the past. We're not planning for a tenant. We're not planning for capital improvements. We're just status quo, break-even, typically how we plan this fund. So just very uneventful on this fund. So next slide, please. Format here is the same as the last one you saw, with the approved budget for 23-24 in the second column, and then our proposal for 24-25 in the fourth column. And you can see that's break even. And just a note, in 23-24, when we started out the year in the budget, we thought we weren't sure what we were doing with the building, so we had planned a renovation on our third floor to really make it more conducive to telework and to get kind of an update of that facility. But once we've made the decision to sell the building, that stopped. We did not expend those funds. And so that's why you're seeing favorability on the projection. There's no use of fund balance because we did not move ahead with that. Next slide, please. Special Revenue Fund, just headline up there that grant revenues and expenditures fluctuate on this fund. It has peaks and valleys. We get the funding in one year and then we disperse it over several more. So it's very normal to have variation in this fund. So we are seeing some increase in state incentive grants, and then we're just seeing the timing of the state grants roll out in terms of what you'll see in expenditures. So next slide, please. So on the Special Revenue Fund, same setup on this chart. You'll see that we've got about, on the revenue side, we've got about 30.8 in the budget, and we'll be projecting about 58.9, almost 59 million of revenue. And so just to stop on that for just a second, that again is advance funding request on several of our grants. In addition, there is a $16 million CalSTA grant administered by Caltrans for hydrogen locomotives and some test rail. That's about 16 million of that. So that's a new project for the district, and that is planned to come in this year. So that's why we're seeing our revenues so much favorable, so much higher than budget for this year. And then you'll see our proposed budget there looks consistent revenue-wise with the 23-24. We're getting back down to kind of that normal level of steady grants. And then our expenditures are increasing as those incentives go out to the community. Next slide, please. Just a look at fund balance to give you a feel for that. This is a trend line. The red line is our building fund. The blue is the general fund, and then green is special revenue. So you'll see for 23-24, there's a uptick. And that's that advanced funding, those requests coming in, or not requests, the disbursement requests being fulfilled in 23-24. And then those fund balances will start to be, if you will, worked off as we implement grants and distribute incentives. And just to point, we have a district policy about operating reserve equivalents, and it only applies to the general and the proprietary fund, because the incentive fund, we want to disperse all of the money in fund balance. We don't need a rainy day fund, so to speak, there. So both the proprietary fund and the general fund are well in excess of that minimum requirement of 120 days of expenditure. So we're in good shape there. Next slide, please. We do a 5-year forecast each year with our budget, and it's very detailed. We go through it line by line, account revenue by revenue account, grant by grant, et cetera. And just to take a look of what's coming, what's the future look like to be responsible, again, fiscally responsible. So the summary of this is that the general fund is projected to continue with the structural deficit, and that's not anything new for those folks that have been on the board. We've seen that in the past, and it's primarily because our revenues don't keep pace with the cost of living and our expenditures and the requirements that we are asked to do as a district. So the assumptions we had was that revenues were stable. We'd have no new revenue sources. We don't have any revenue sources identified that are high enough probability or that we would include them in this particular forecast. And then our expenditures grow at COLA, a normal inflationary amount, and then we have no change in headcount, no additional FTE added. Proprietary fund stable, special revenue fund, again, we just went through that grant by grant, trying to project what we think the funds are going to be coming in and how we would distribute those with essentially stable funding in the outer years. Next slide, please. So this is a depiction of the results of that whole process, which was pretty detailed. And so it shows that that's the structural deficit. We have our expenses in excess of our revenue. And the 24-25, we're at 3.1, and it doesn't change much between now and the 28-29 year, going to 3.2 million deficit. And it's primarily that we don't have anything identified that will really be a step change there to increase that revenue significantly, or anything that we see that would reduce expenditures significally. So we'll continue to work with the board on this, looking for opportunities. Some of those things I showed in the earlier slides with the more your admin funds. I mean, all those things help in terms of closing up that deficit. Next slide, please. So our last topic is the proposed fee schedule for stationary sources. And so we adjust those fees based on rules. It's based on a standard CPI index. The proposed increase for next year is 4.17%, effective July 1. It's our practice to increase those fees annually to keep pace with our costs, and you see, so that our deficit doesn't get any larger, and also to avoid any catch-up adjustments that may be required. That for permit holders, it would be pretty. It could be onerous type of adjustment. So that is our practice and policy on that. Next slide, please. So in summary, we've got a sound budget, we feel, that's balanced. We have the funding for the opportunities that are ahead of us for 24-25, and our reserves are adequate and healthy enough to fund our deficit for the near term. And so we feel good about the budget that we've completed here. Next slide, please. So the recommendation to the board is to open and close a public hearing on the 24-25 proposed budget and fee schedule, provide direction to staff regarding development of the final budget, and then set the public hearing for adoption of the fiscal year 24-25 budget and fee schedule for May 25th, 2024. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Patty. Great report. Director Cerna.
Thank you, Chair. I don't see another more appropriate place on today's agenda to bring this up, but I wanted to ask whether or not we're going to receive any agendized update on the building search and some of the criteria that maybe we're looking at to relocate.
So the short answer is yes. The board appointed a subcommittee for an ad hoc committee to advise us on relocation. I will give you a very brief update, but if you want the detail, I think the best avenue would probably be to include you in the ad hoc committee where we dive into.
No, I think a brief, some brief mention of it
I think
today.
you should be on the ad hoc committee there.
Well, hold on. My point is though, that time is getting pretty narrow, right, in terms of the need. So I'd like to hear today what the summarized version.
Yeah, I'll be happy. Like I said, the APCO report has a slide on. I was going to give the board an update so I can expand a little and then hopefully address your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I will open up the public hearing. Is there any member of the public that would like to address the board on this item? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing, bring it back to the board for a motion.
Move approval. Frost.
Chair will second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions, by the way, any questions of any of the board members online? Seeing none, okay. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Chair Aquino?
Aye.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Desmond? Aye. Director Frost?
Aye.
And Director Guerra? Director Guerra? Aye. Director Hume? Aye. Chair Kennedy?
Aye.
Director Maple?
Aye.
Director Papineau? Aye. Director Robles? Director Cerna?
Aye.
Director Terry?
Aye.
Director Thau? Aye. Director Vang?
Yes.
This item passes.
Thank you very much. Well done, Patty. Thank you. Also, let the record reflect that Directors Maple and Vang have joined us. Next item, please.
The next item on the agenda, item number 8 under the discussion calendar, Sacramento Valley Basin Air Pollution Control Council new alternate member appointment, and I have Amy Roberts in chambers to give a presentation.
I don't know that a full presentation is necessary at this time, but it's pretty straightforward unless the board has any questions. Director Papineau has agreed to serve as alternate. If there's no objections, Council, do we need to take a vote on that? Yes, you do. Okay. Then the chair will make the motion to appoint Director Papineau. Second. And we have Director Guerra with the second. Please call the roll.
Vice Chair Aquino?
Aye.
Director Daniels?
Aye.
Director Desmond? Aye. Director Frost?
Aye.
Director Guerra? Aye. Director Hume?
Aye.
Director Kennedy?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Chair Kennedy. Director Maple?
Aye.
Director Papineau? Aye. Director Robles? Director Cerna?
Aye.
Director Terry?
Aye.
Director Thau? Director Vang? Yes. This item passes as well.
Thank you. Next item.
The next item on the agenda, item number 9, Clean Cars for All program update, and I have Cindy Mann in chambers to give a presentation.
Good morning, Chair Kennedy, members of the board. My name is Cindy Mann. I'm a program supervisor in our Transportation and Climate Change Division. I oversee our Clean Cars for All program, and today I'll be speaking with you about our program successes and upcoming programmatic changes. Next slide, please. A little bit of background on our Clean Cars for All program. Our program provides incentives to income-qualified residents of disadvantaged communities in Sacramento County, the ability to turn in and scrap a 2009 or older model year vehicle, and in turn get a grant of up to $9,500 to go towards the purchase of a clean vehicle, such as a conventional hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or battery electric vehicle. Our program launched in March of 2019 and has been providing clean and reliable transportation while stimulating the regional economy and helping transition to cleaner electric and zero-emission vehicles. Our funding is provided by the California Air Resources Board, and we are projected to have funding to administer the program through 2028. Next slide, please. As of Q1 2024, we have provided almost 1,100 award letters to Sacramento County residents. This letter allows them to go to one of our participating dealerships and purchase a clean vehicle. Of those 1,100, 901 have purchased vehicles. Of those 901 vehicles that have been purchased, over half of those individuals have received an additional $2,000 incentive to go towards charging support in the form of public charging credits or the installation of EVSE within their home. These 901 vehicles will help to reduce 9,573 tons of greenhouse gas emissions and 8.42 tons of criteria pollutants over their 30-month project life. Next slide, please. As I stated previously, 901 vehicles have been purchased through our program. The graph on the left shows the breakdown of the vehicles that have been purchased by the type of vehicles that they are. I would like to highlight that 38% of the vehicles that have been purchased by our participants are battery electric vehicles, thus giving those participants the cleanest miles possible while driving. The graph on the right is feedback that we've received from our program participants as part of our survey process. From the survey, 90% of the survey respondents stated they spend less on fuel. We also heard they spend less on repairs. They have had a positive change in income and better employment opportunities. Next slide, please.
Actually, to the chair.
Yes.
Before you leave that slide.
Yes.
You can go back. Does this mean that there were no hydrogen fuel cell vehicles?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But we are tracking that as well, I assume.
Correct. Correct. We have not had anyone go for the fuel cell option yet.
Thank you.
Next slide, please. Perfect. And now for our program changes. Our most recent round of funding from the California Air Resources Board will now allow us to open the program to all income-qualified residents of Sacramento County that have a 2009 or older vehicle that they would like to scrap. The income threshold will now change from 0 to 300% of the federal poverty level instead of 0 to 400% of the federal poverty level. The base grant for plug-in hybrid electric vehicles and battery electric vehicles will increase to $9,500 instead of a base grant of $5,000. And for those residents that do reside in disadvantaged community census tracts, the maximum grant that they can now receive for a battery electric or fuel cell vehicle will be $12,000 instead of $9,500. The ability for participants to purchase conventional hybrids as part of this program will sunset December 31st of 2024, and consumer protection is always at the forefront of our program, and we have been speaking with Community Housing Development Corporation, also known as CHDC. They have a very robust financial assistance program. They have been chosen by the California Air Resources Board to administer the statewide Clean Cars for All program and financial assistance program. Our hope is to have a partnership that will allow our Clean Cars for All participants to access their financial assistance program when needed. Next slide, please. One of the most eagerly awaited changes to our program is the addition of electric bicycles, or e-bikes. Eligible program applicants will now be able to scrap a vehicle and get a grant of $7,500 to go towards the purchase of an e-bike and e-bike accessories. Our program is in close alignment with the state e-bike program. Individuals will be able to go to one of our participating dealerships and purchase their e-bikes and e-bike accessories. These dealerships have brick and mortar stores throughout Sacramento and the surrounding area to help provide continued maintenance and repair services for our participants. Next slide, please.
If I could just interrupt, just from a practical standpoint, on both of the e-bikes, and you said that there's participating dealerships, but also on the EVs and so forth. I take it that all of the dealerships, this just folds in automatically when you're sitting there at the desk of the salesperson, that they know. And we're not expecting the consumer to contact their district. It's just an automatic thing.
Correct.
Okay.
When they come and they get an award letter, we provide them with a list of eligible dealers. When they go to the dealerships, the dealers then help them. So they say, we know you have an award letter. They help provide them with a checklist that shows these are the vehicles that they can purchase, teach them the differences between the different types of vehicles. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Director Guerra?
One conversation that we had with some of the Air District staff and the Sacramento Bike Advocates in our effort to roll out the state voucher for the e-bikes was the amount, and could we actually get more folks if the amount was a little lower, because the average price point for the e-bikes is actually coming down. So that's one question. And then the second was, if we kept that number, could it go for, say, infrastructure? Say if you wanted to buy a bike cage or bike rack, or installing an outlet outside of your house or for your apartment, because some of these have removable batteries, but some of them are plugged into the bike itself. So on those two fronts, has there been consideration on the e-bike option?
So those are both very good questions. So the first question, I'll address that one first. So the grant is $7,500 for the purchase of e-bikes or an e-bike. So if you have a family of 4 and you need to get bikes for your family, that grant would cover not just your bike, but for everybody else in your family that you would need that for. So if you're using that transportation. So, we say e-bikes, plural, because we don't know how many residents are applying for each program. E-bike accessories is also there's a list of approved accessories, and so we want to make sure that they have the appropriate helmets, they have the appropriate bike locks, if they do need to put seats on the back so the kids can ride, cargo, those type of pieces. And that's part of the reason why we have brick and mortar stores, so it's a one-stop shop. So our participants can go to the shops that they will have that equipment there, help put that equipment on the bike, so then they can move forward with that.
And is the requirement same on the safety side, like requiring that they are purchased with the built-in lights for those as well?
So I don't recall exactly if it's lights. I do know reflectors. We have safety features that are required as part of the program. Again, we mimic the statewide program, so it's UL and EL listed bikes.
Very much. Okay.
And so I can definitely share the information with you as we put that together. We're in the process of putting that together, so I'll be glad to share that with you. As for question 2 regarding the infrastructure, there have not been conversations in regards to funding that. I think those are definitely conversations that we could have with SMUD to see how they could help support us in that effort. Again, part of that is educating the team on what is needed for that, and then reaching out to participants and other SABA, people who know best on what exactly is needed, because I know that's the conversation too. What exactly support do they need, and what kind of chargers do we need to put in? But I definitely think that that's something that we could work on to help promote.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
To the chair.
Mm-hmm.
Next month is the annual May is Bike Month.
Mm-hmm.
How is this being promoted in the context of that campaign?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was anxious to respond.
Yeah, no, please.
So I was going to get to that later, but I'll do it right now. We are partnering with the Sacramento Area Bicycle Advocates, otherwise known as SABA, to help promote our e-bike program, and we are working with them to do some ride and drive demo e-bike events. And so I don't have the final list yet, but we are supposed to be doing those events in the Meadowview and Florin area. So when those do become available, I'll be glad to share that with you all. I do know that we will be at the Del Paso neighborhood event, the May Day event, and so the hope is to hopefully be able to get Saba out there. If not, me and my team will definitely be out there to help promote the program, as well as the statewide e-bike program. So if individuals don't have a car that they can scrap, they can know about the state e-bike incentives to get involved with e-bikes.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
Please continue.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so I'm sure you're all wondering when these changes are going to be taking place. So May of 2024, we will be pausing the program with a soft launch in June of 2024. This will allow us a transition period to clear out the queue of existing applicants, to implement some changes and test those changes into our Clean Cars for All database, and to work with our dealer network to ensure that they are educated on the new programmatic changes. We will begin to notify program applicants in May of these changes. They will then have a choice if they would like to continue with their current application, and they can get a maximum grant amount of $9,500, or they can choose to withdraw their application, reapply during the soft launch period, and get a maximum grant of $12,000. As I stated previously, we're going to be working with the California Air Resources Board to promote the e-bike program to ensure that individuals have access to e-bikes even if they don't have a car to scrap. We will continue our partnership as well with SMUD. They do ride and drive events throughout the Sacramento area, and we are there to help promote our Clean Cars for All program at those events. We would appreciate the board's help to promote our program to your constituents. We will be sending our updated program materials to you when they become available. Currently, we're updating our program flyer and translating that into Vietnamese, Russian, Simple Chinese, and Spanish. We'll be creating Clean Cars for All program posters that we would like to put at community centers, schools, smog check stations. We're all excited about the changes that are coming to our program. And as we work through our program pause and soft launch period, we will ensure our applicants, participants, and dealers continue to have the best experience possible through our program. I appreciate your time today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Director Hume.
Thank you, Chair. I was just curious if there's been any discussion or plan to include electric scooters in the e-bike portion of the program?
At this time, electric scooters are not included in the program.
Is there a particular reason for that?
That would be the legislation.
Okay.
So the Clean Cars for All program is dictated from the California legislation, and it specifically states certain items that we can and cannot fund, and electric scooters are not one of the items that we can fund at this point.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, Chair, there's a more fundamental reason for not including scooters, Director Hume. These are clean transportation programs. What we are trying to do is incentivize people to leave the gas car and get into something cleaner. There is evidence that an e-bike can replace vehicle trips. The same is not true for scooters. So that's one fundamental reason why we're not promoting scooters with these programs and why the legislation explicitly excludes them. So it's an important distinction because what we are trying to do is to get to a better, cleaner paradigm for mobility, and e-bikes appear to be the preferred approach.
Well, as one who bought an electric scooter for exact purpose of leaving the gas car at home, I would argue against that data, but that's okay.
Your one single data point, we'll take it.
That's a long scooter, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, first mile, last mile, exactly. I only have to get to CRC.
Any other questions? Thank you. Very thorough report. Appreciate it. Is there a member of the public who has any questions on this item? Seeing none, thank you very much. Is received and filed. Next item, please.
The next item on the agenda, the Air Pollution Control Officer report, and I have Alberto Ayala in chambers to give his presentation.
Thank you, Board, and thank you to staff for two great presentations. I want to acknowledge Patty. I think you get a sense that she's running a well-oiled machine as her duties as our controller. So thank you, Patty. And I want to acknowledge the Clean Cars for All program, too. It's just a fantastic program. And I'm really excited that now we're going to open it up to anybody within Sacramento County. So that's great. Help us promote it. Next slide, please. So I just have a very few quick updates, things that I think are important for you as our board to be aware of. And speaking of good programs, here is another one of our flagship programs. We call it the CCAT program, the Sacramento Emergency Clean Air Transportation Program. We are going to be expanding it in a very important fashion, and please let your fleet managers know that now light, medium, and heavy-duty vehicles are eligible to be funded with this program. Again, the idea, very similar to the previous program, we're trying to incentivize and deploy zero-emission vehicles, electric vehicles, fuel cell, batteries, what have you. Again, what's important is that we are including now light-duty vehicles, as you can see here, and you see the amounts of incentives that we can provide per vehicle. So again, we're encouraging municipal fleets, nonprofits, local businesses to apply. One very important benefit and distinction of the program, we don't require scrap. So if you don't have a vehicle to turn in, that's okay. If you're interested in adopting clean vehicles, this is the program for you. So we think this is going to be a really nice expansion of the program, and it's going to launch May 9th. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. So again, please let your fleet managers know that the program is going to launch. And before anybody asks, no, we're not funding monster trucks. That's just our staff keeping us on our toes. So that's meant to be the larger pickup vehicles. Next slide, please. So here's my update on the relocation of our office building. So maybe just to give you the background, we were very happy in our building, as Patty alluded to. We thought with teleworking and you know in the post-COVID era, learning to remote work, we were just going to remodel the building and get a better setup for sharing the office. And then our tenant told us that they were going to vacate. So that is really the reason why we decided to move, because without a tenant, the building is about 3 times as big as we would need it, right? And I, for one, proposed to the board very strongly that we're not in the business of leasing building space. We're in the business of clean air. When Well Space, our current tenant, let us know that they were moving, that really set the stage for us to look for alternative location. We hire a very capable broker, a firm that is helping us on both ends to sell the building as well as to find our new home. And we're in the process of that. As the board knows, we have identified an organization that is interested in purchasing the building. So we're fortunate, and we're waiting for that decision. We have gone through a couple of iterations, negotiating the sale price and other things that are very typical to this. And we're waiting for that any time now. At the same time, as you can imagine, there's plenty property around the core of the city for us to go and find our forever home. We have actually just recently looked at 5 very good locations, so we're in the process of narrowing that down and continuing to work with our broker to help us in the process. We're keeping our employees informed, and everybody's getting ready. As I mentioned, we have an ad hoc committee of the board for you to provide us with very good advice. And the point of the slide here, again, is just to let you know that things are moving. And we're expecting, as Patty said, 2024 is going to be the year when we will be moving out of our current building and finding our new home. So we'll keep you posted.
Director Cerna.
Thank you. Thank you for that summary. So this is one of the boards and commissions that I serve on, that we serve on, that has really, I think, attempted to, walk the talk in terms of permitting or even advocating that our board members participate remotely in the interest of reducing vehicle mile traveled. So are we also looking at properties, or very intentionally looking at properties that are on existing transit lines? Because right now the existing building's obviously, 100 feet away, if that, from a light rail station.
So the answer is yes. One of the handful of criteria that we put together for the new location was precisely that, because we, as you would imagine, there's properties all around us, but one of the things that we wanted to do is precisely not induce VMT by making people having to get in their vehicle to get to work. So that was one of the most important criteria that we included. And all of the properties that we're looking are going to be within walking distance of either the bus or the light rail. So we feel very confident from that perspective.
And then in the same spirit, are we also looking at properties that either have or can accommodate charging infrastructure?
Yes, that's pretty standard now, especially with new construction, right? Because there's state requirements now that they have to come equipped with charging. There's always going to be a need for more. We definitely want to encourage that. And in fact, we have programs where we can actually fund an organization, a business, to deploy the charger. So we'll continue to do that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Ayala, I want to just really emphasize the bullets, engage employees in relocation process, and commend you and your staff in your real, very stalwart efforts to include the employees in this decision-making process. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Absolutely. We want, I'm not shy about saying that we want everybody to be happy in the future forever home, right? I mean, if we have to go to work, might as well look forward to that. So again, we're very encouraged. The properties that we recently looked at, including a representative from the Employee Association or a couple of representatives, any one of those potential properties could be our forever home easily. So we'll keep you posted. Next slide. This is my last one, and this is really from the category of community engagement, just to share with you that obviously past weekend was Earth Day, so and the weekend prior, there was a number of activities that we had a presence at. Obviously, anytime you have, now that the weather's getting nice and we're going to see these events more frequently, anytime you think that the voice of clean air and climate action is important, let us know. As you gather, we are very committed and interested in being out there and making connections with the community that we're trying to serve. And but what better way than to be the voice for clean air? So just wanted to share that we have been very active and proactively looking for these opportunities. This concludes the APCO report. Thank you.
Any questions of the board? Any members of the public? Thank you, Dr. Ayala. Now, before we go to closed session, I'm just going to move up if there's any board ideas, comments, or AB 1234 reports. Hearing and seeing none, then we will recess to closed session.
A breakout room and sending you guys over in just a second. Those in chambers can go to the hearing room in the back.
We're good? All right. We're back to order. Council, is there anything to report out from closed session?
There is nothing to report. Thank you.
We're adjourned.